If God created everything, then who created God? This misunderstanding of the law of causality, that everything that begins to exist must have a cause, is failing to recognize the clarification that God didn't have a beginning, therefore he doesn't need a cause. However, instead of getting philosophical on them, we need to build this from the ground up. Expecting the Creator to function the way his creation does is unreasonable. Expecting the designer to follow his own designs is irrational, and demanding God to follow the same rule as humans is stupid. The fact on the table is that God is spiritual, not material. Though he has a consciousness, he doesn't have a material body and shouldn't be expected to act like one. This is what leads us to the Kalam cosmological argument, one of the proofs for God's existence based on necessity of the origin of the universe. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. Let me say that again slowly. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause. This cause was bigger than the universe, smart enough to cause a functional universe capable of supporting life and not collapsing in on itself, conscious enough to want to create a universe, existed before the beginning of the universe, thus time itself, existed before the creation of matter, thus immaterial, and with all those factors in and more, what do you call a living, conscious being who is more powerful than anything that exists, always existed in a spirit rather than made of matter? That would be God. But to say that God has to follow this rule of causality, that this conclusion that because the universe existed it has a cause, it began to exist, it has a cause, then you have to clarify, well, what about God then? Who created him? If we could prove the universe didn't begin to exist, then we wouldn't have this reason for God. It would explain itself. But because the universe began to exist, we need to look for a cause that isn't made of the same stuff that came into existence at the start of the universe. Taking a step back then, we realize, okay, so if God follows the same rules as the universe, we might have a case. But does any Christian ever argue that? Does philosophically it fit that the things that began to exist in the universe needed, of course, we assume, to also exist before the universe? That is an assumption and not one based on evidence. But if on the other hand we recognize this is an argument from philosophy, that out of necessity the universe having a cause needed a cause capable of making a universe like the one we see today, we're arguing consistently with our premises. But the person who says, well, who created God then, didn't read the first sentence. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. If we're arguing a being before time, he obviously didn't begin, and he obviously won't end, as the Bible dictates. But if this cause, on the other hand, is beyond time, and you argue there can't be anything beyond time, then you're assuming nothing existed before the universe and throwing the argument on its head. We're finding out that because the universe began to exist, scientifically it needed a cause. But if on the other hand you're going to say, well, I just don't like it, good for you. But that doesn't change reality. Thank you for your time. If you have any clarification you'd like to discuss in the comments, let me know. Just as long as they're sincere, I'll be happy to engage with you because I understand this is a little complicated. But if you want more information about this or the Kalam cosmological argument, I recommend reasonablefaith.org or just simply to engage, and I can forward you their resources as well. I look forward to the next time we're able to discuss these things. And until then, God bless you.